All right. Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101 with your host, Maxwell Starr. First BA101 of the new year, and we're going to do new beers resolutions, otherwise known as beers we are planning to drink more of, or our New Year's resolution is to drink more of this year. So I'll introduce who we got with us tonight to our zero viewers. Hey, Greg's back.
Hi, Nick. How are you? How are you this evening? How's 2024 treating you?
Oh, it is what it is.
Wow, you sound like a very excited human being tonight.
Oh,
Yeah, pretty good.
So both me and my cat are fully shaved right now. So we're both very aerodynamic and can slide into things.
Jesus.
The more you know.
So
I guess. Well, I kind of brought two beers, but I guess I'll do the one I haven't had before. Anyway, so I did attempt to take this topic seriously, and I'm going to go with I want to try to lose a little weight, and on top of doing other things to try to do that, I'm going to try to maybe drink a little healthier beer, a little less calorie beer. Not that it's a great way to lose weight, but every little bit helps. So I am going to try to drink more session beers. In this case, it happens to be a session IPA, which we're going to qualify as session beer is less than 4.5%. So there we go. And this is from Collingwood. It's called Happy Tales Session IPA.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try this and see if it's as delicious as a 9% IPA. It probably is. I also brought a GLB Burst, which is basically the same thing. It's a 4.5% New England style IPA. I'm going to drink them both because two 4.5% beers make a 9% beer. That's how that works.
That's why you got to drink two of them. Doesn't it double up on your calories?
No, that's not how it works at all, Nick. It probably does.
Nick doesn't know how to do math.
Right. I'll pull out a calculator and we'll have that nutritional information thing that doesn't on LCBO want to have like a nutritional information label on the side of the cans or some shit.
I feel there should just be the thing that says nutritional information. Dumbass, you're drinking beer. This isn't healthy for you. Don't be trying to find anything healthy about it.
Like those health warning things on the back of British bottles of.
Also, yeah, don't drink this.
How many units are you drinking? Yeah.
Yeah. Or like in Iceland where they put parent advisory on the Bible.
Jeez.
That's pretty good.
Alrighty. So speaking of units, let's go over to Scott. Hey, Scott. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Hey, Greg. You wanted to take your alcohol intake down, but still want to drink beer. I suggest a fresh opening of Moosehead's Crack Canoe. It is a lower ABV alcohol, but same great Moosehead taste.
Scott, are you saying that your wonderful company you work for that you would never disparage offers a product that would meet my needs for 2024?
I do.
And I will say, I think I've said this on the show because I think somebody brought a Crack Canoe. Oh, there's Carrie. Because somebody, I think, brought a Crack Canoe. I do prefer a Crack Canoe to a Moosehead. Well, of course it was you. I do prefer a Crack Canoe to a Moosehead. I find it to be a more enjoyable product. And as a bonus, it helps me lose a little bit of my fat ass. So yay!
So buy more Crack Canoe.
There we go. Nick, end of show. Buy more Crack Canoe.
There you go. That probably is ultimately the solution. We haven't even talked about what beer Scott plans to drink more of, even though we probably know what brand it is.
I plan this year to drink more Moose Cream. Yes. So much more Moose Cream.
Jesus.
Wow.
Because you get it for a good price.
Because I get it for a very good price.
I mean,
all right.
The math checks out on it. Scott, have you this is going to be your first full, assuming you don't get fired, your first full calendar year working for Moosehead, right?
Assumingly I don't get fired.
Assumingly,
my first year would be in May. Like my first year up would be in May.
So you went a whole 5 months or 4.5 whatever months without the crisp, clean, delicious taste of Moosehead. So
no, that's incorrect. I still enjoyed a crisp clear taste of Moosehead. I just paid full
I
price
thought
for
you enjoyed a crisp, clean Alpine.
it, but I paid full price for it.
Mm.
So this
Now-
is your first year of enjoying it at a wonderful cost.
At a
A
At a-
cost
at a
that's
wonderful
literally
cost.
less than water to you.
yes, at a cost that is less than water.
There you go. Okay, look at you moving up in the world. 2024 is the year of Scott.
You know what's funny? We are having a storm here today, and
Yeah, that came from us. Sorry.
yeah,
We
and,
didn't.
Thanks, Greg.
yeah, thanks, Greg. And so I decided to fill up my bathtub full of water, and if I was still on municipal water, it would be cheaper for me to fill up my tub with Moosehead beer than it would be to fill up with Moosehead water. But now that I
It'll be
live
more fun too.
I live on a well, therefore it is cheaper for me to fill it up with water. So in
Well,
this
there you
case,
go.
water is better than Moosehead.
But you could have a nice relaxing bath and then drink all the bath water with Moosehead. It'll be delicious.
Right? Right.
Belle
All right.
Delphine style. Mm.
All right, thank you, Scott. Let's move on and talk about some other brewery. Radar. Hey, Radar. First of all-
I'm doing pretty good. This will be the first time this year that I'm drinking alcohol.
That is one
All right.
professional camera angle you got
Took you
there.
10 days.
It's better than the blowjob camera angle.
Is it though?
So I'm going to be drinking a Mill Street organic lager
Ah,
because I'm going to try to eat better this year. Maybe not drink better, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I've never had this one before, or I don't think I've ever had any organic beer.
Have
Do
you ever had
had
any? Have you
Bose?
ever had something by Bose before?
Yes, but not
They've been full organic for years.
Oh, really?
Years. Yeah.
like in their lug tread.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
all their stuff's
Years.
organic.
I,
I remember
I,
it was
I
It
stand
makes-
corrected.
it makes such a huge difference in the flavor. You're fucking so stupid.
I remember it was a big deal one time because they came out with, I think, a Goza, and I think the salt wasn't organic, so they put it on the label that they couldn't source organic salt or something. Or
Yeah.
I think it was salt.
Oh no. It's like the one brewery here, Gateway City. They make this big deal about we're a vegan brewery, and it's like, yeah, because other breweries are actively just
Using meat.
throwing cheese and eggs and meat into their beer all the time. It's like, it's just hilarious.
I mean, I feel you're still murdering yeast, so it's not very.
That is the
vegan,
thing.
They're probably killing billions of them.
Isn't it? It's something they used to use where they used to use some fish extract to clear beer or some shit like
It's some
that.
sort
Oh,
of filtering
isinglass.
thing with the
Yeah,
gills.
yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah, they
talking
used
about.
to use like fish bladder extract.
But
or
that's not
something.
even.
It's like
I'm pretty sure
isinglass.
that's pretty much not even done. Some like old school breweries probably still do
I
that. But
thought
any
Guinness
new ones?
still did it. But
Yeah,
Guinness
Guinness,
just,
old
can't be
school.
classified as vegan because they still do that.
But I know that the one here, they use some kind of something to clear up their beer that's obviously going to be vegan. But yeah, it's just funny to me.
All right, thank you, Radar. Let's keep on rolling. And Radar,
I wasn't finished.
Redbeard showed up.
No, he wasn't done.
You weren't finished. Okay,
no.
well, you're
No, Mill Street. I used to. The only other thing is the Mill Street IPA that I drank. I haven't really drank many Mill Street shit, even though it's like here in Ottawa. I'm done.
well. To be fair, they got one like Ottawa and like Toronto. They're from Toronto, etc.
Yeah, there's like this big place there uptown.
Nice. All right, Redbeard. How you doing tonight? Awesome. What do you plan to drink more of this year?
Beer.
Probably not.
Haze Mama. He's probably
There we
bucking
go.
the health food trend and saying, "Fuck it, I'm sticking." Well, you got the metabolism of like a
And if I
18-year-old. So.
wanna, like the thing I need that I should cut out, at least cut back on, is pop. I drink a decent amount of pop, so just cutting that back, I feel would make a pretty big impact. So, no, yeah.
and you can finally lose that weight.
There you go. Shut off those fancy burrito or free pizza
Probably.
pounds. or that sub place or something, is it?
Between the Bun.
Between the Bun.
Is that what it's called? Between the Bun?
The place here, yeah. Best sub shop that I've ever, like, you know, I haven't been to that many.
Wait, is it
other
better than
places.
Subway and Mr. Sub?
It's Mr. Sub has been
Better than
a dumpster fire for a long time. Subway,
Subway sucks.
it's edible. You know, like if you get the right sub, I usually get like a chicken bacon ranch, and you get them to toast it, but get them to put the lettuce on the side, like in a soup cup or something, and then you bring it home, and then you put the lettuce on, because if they toast it and put the lettuce on, by the time you get home, it becomes like, you know what heated up lettuce is like. It just sucks. You want that nice crisp cold crunch. So that's my little Subway hack that I've done for many a year now, if I ever go there. But this Between the Bun place, it's just
Do you guys
phenomenal.
have Firehouse subs up there?
We were supposed to get one.
Yeah.
A building got torn down because it was condemned, and when they were repurposing the property, there was a sign, Firehouse subs coming soon. But I've heard of them. I've heard pretty good things.
Yeah, I've had them in Toronto. Quite good.
We had a Quiznos here at one point when Quiznos kind of was first a thing, and people didn't seem to grasp the fact that, like, yeah, it was more expensive than Subway, but their buns were almost like an inch wider than Subway buns. They were actually, you got so much more than you got from Subway, and they were just so much better quality, but no one went there because it was too expensive for people.
All right. Thank you, Carrie.
The building is now a fishing outfitter store.
Nice.
Yeah.
Word. Okay. And guess who else showed up? Paul, PA Brew News.
Oh my goodness.
Yay.
Paul has entered the chat.
StreamYard Paul is here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
The camera quality because
I was sitting in Discord. I was in Discord since 8 o'clock waiting, and I'm like, "Where's everybody at?"
I didn't even know
I was
you were
watching
waiting.
Redbeard. I am drinking a cold. What's that?
I was just saying, but Paul's the best stream viewer ever.
I didn't even know he was over in Discord. Usually he'll ask him where we're going. Anyway.
Yeah, it's probably the Pennsylvania internet that he has too.
My internet is not going to be able to handle it. Yeah, no, my power just went there too, and I had to redo my Wi-Fi. So I just want to say I'm drinking a Kolbitzer Schwarzbier from 2019. I got a case of this for $20. They're 500 milliliter cans. They're 5%, and they're very tasty. And because it is too, like, the fruit comes out really well with the caramel and that nice roasty toasty tonality. They are owned by the Wolters Brewing Company from Germany that are famous for the Pilsner. I do like it. It's funny because like Moosehead, the fine quality of Moosehead, it's the finest German quality, right on the top there. Almost like Moosehead is the finest Canadian quality. So there you go.
You know what's funny? Everyone slags on Moosehead here. I want to point something out. Who's our competitors? Is it these guys? Are these guys?
Well, this has got like a German brand or something.
Yeah.
There.
For North American brands, our competitors are Labatt's and Budweiser. Like all these people, like all these craft brews, they don't. They're not in the same. They're not in the same amount of hectoliters of beer being produced at one time during a year. Right. So the competitors to Moosehead are the big macro people, and to compare them to the small batches and the micros and the unique beers that we have, I think is an unfair slag.
Well, I think people get confused by the whole Moosehead being independently owned. They kind of confuse that with it being a craft product. And I mean, I know they do make craft products, but yeah, the reality is they're competing with a macro product. And I've said Moosehead is better than Molson Canadian.
So I mean, is it better than Budweiser or Bud Light? Is it better than Coors?
Been a while since I've had a.
I honestly like, you know what, that's the thing that we should. There's a beer analysis for us right there.
Okay.
Everyone
Macro
needs
beers?
to get a Moosehead, and say 2 other random Canadian Coors, Bud Light, whatever you want. 2 other macros, and
And
pour
then
'em
you're leading
and do
into
like
drinking like 3 beers per person. That's
We do that. We do
I
that.
think we
Okay.
do that. I think it'd be more along the lines of just pick a macro beer and bring it.
Okay, I'm just
I'd be
trying
down.
to say like it'd be fun to do like a then pour the 3 beers, mix
Oh,
them up.
you can
No idea
even
which
do
one-
like-
You can make
and
a
do,
koozie.
which one do I like best?
Oh,
kind
you
of
can
thing.
even do it. Each person
I know.
brings a moose head, and each person brings a macro beer. Then it's only 2 beers per person.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like a macro. It's like a file. I don't consider drinking a Budweiser to being. I just had a beer. It's like I just had. I don't know, some dirty water. It's like I don't know. Like I could easily have a can of Moosehead and a can of Canadian and a can of Bud or something within the span of an hour and a half, and probably barely even get buzz kind of thing.
Sure, but I mean, you want to in this regard, you want to compare the tasting of those 2 macros, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I'd prefer to have, like, if we're gonna do it, you guys grab. I'm gonna grab probably maybe a Moosehead and like 3 macros, because I want to be able to. I want to do like a blind taste test and do
I
like,
just think we
which
should
one
do
do I actually
Moose-
like better? It'd be kind of fun.
Moosehead versus Canadian, the final showdown.
Dun, dun, dun.
The fine.
Anyway,
It's
that's
the
my
Can't call it the final showdown unless we need some kind of a
That's-
bracket to bring it down to being
Okay.
the final
yeah.
showdown.
Anyway,
That's
so-
just my thought here. Just
I haven't even
keep that in mind.
introduced what my beer is tonight, which is, well, it's somebody's actually already got it, but fucking I'm drinking it anyway because I enjoy the crisp, golden, refreshing taste of Moosehead. I really do.
Oh, this is gonna be so fun. Saying whose beer do you want to drink?
Yeah, I know I'm gonna lose. And everybody's voting for Hayes Mama. Well, the big thing with this is that it's not so much that I want to drink it a lot. It's that it's out of necessity because the beer in New Brunswick's gotten so expensive lately, where it's like $5 a can if you want a can of craft IPA. And I know that's just unsustainable. I got to get something cheaper. Like, so I'm thinking more maintenance beers. And what am I thinking when it comes to good quality, like filler? I'll probably wind up drinking more of the Moosehead or any other Moosehead brand, like Crack Canoe sounds like a good idea. Heck, my waiting for this thing to start beer is an Alpine.
See, there you go.
This is another Moosehead product. And I mean, fuck, like 8 cans of this is $20, so it's kind of like a starter. So yeah, it really doesn't need to be talked about. We've done this numerous times on BA101, and we've got a Moosehead shill that talks about it every week he's on.
I'm not a shill.
He wasn't even here last week, and it was almost the
We
only
didn't
thing that was
have a
talked about.
BA101 last week, though.
I'm just saying that Moosehead was still almost the only thing talked about.
We were going off about how
The crisp, clean, refreshing
crisp,
taste of Moosehead.
clean, refreshing, golden taste of Moosehead.
Only the choicest hops and malts.
Nick, take the top off and get it in you.
Yeah. There we go.
What if you
Yeah,
got
the
it
top
in him
is
to take the
off.
top off? Like
The-
stick it up his bum and then
Should
pull
drink
it
it
with the
right
top
out
off?
of the bottle.
That'd be a fancy
I
party
don't
trick.
judge fetishes. If you're into it and it's legal, go for it. Even if it's
And-
illegal, just don't get caught.
And you know what's legal? A good, refreshing, crisp taste of Moosehead Lager.
As long as you're of age.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll probably cuvee it with a little Alpine afterwards, and it'll taste exactly the same. All right, so
That's going crazy.
let's move to the comments. Who wants to read them?
Sure.
Who said sure?
All right. Albino Rhino. I'm guessing that's Jeff. Jamie. I plan to drink more high ABV saisons, and then
It says Alblino.
What?
It says Alblino.
oh whatever.
whatever.
Oh, you're not on Discord. I'm wondering where you were. And then he
Sorry
said,
about that,
flushing
Paul.
your toilet with Moosehead makes sense. I mean, you're pouring out into a drain anyway, right? And Nick said, just sent StreamYard link, Paul. And then Paul said, fish fillets. And then filings. And then Lee Russell said, Paul is on the sort of Wi-Fi that involves a string and 2 styrofoam cups. Yeah. And then Redbeard said, and a string is off every frame. And then Paul said, "Sorry, my Wi-Fi couldn't stand Scott's shilling demagoguery." And then said all the macro products and companies that were named were all shit overall. Lee Russell says, "Gotta plug it in, Paul." And he says, "Oh, Moosehead is most obviously better than the other Canadian macros."
Yeah.
Paul said, "It's all good. I'll enjoy my finest quality German brew. Ha ha ha. ... Which is an off-brand of Wolters, which is an off-brand of someone else."
Yeah, I mean,
Paul
comparing
then-
Moosehead to other macro beers and it's like comparing. Would you rather drink water or would you rather swallow razor blades? It's just not exactly a difficult choice.
Jesus.
That is
You're good.
not even close to an adequate comparison. Like,
Okay, maybe
the hell?
comparing drinking orange juice to drinking straight battery acid. There, well, I mean that
again,
literally is
no,
a great
no.
comparison between
battery
Moosehead
acid will kill
and
you.
Molson Canadian in particular, which is
And then the
battery acid.
Pabrunu says, "Kokane
I feel
all
it's
day."
more like,
sons."
do you want to drink like gutter water or toilet water?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the way more accurate than anything Nick just
I
tried to say.
wouldn't call it gutter water because I do enjoy the crisp.
No, sorry. Moosehead would be the
refreshing taste.
Moosehead would be the clean toilet water, and then Canadian would be like the gutter water that's filthy and has feces in it.
Put it in the back of your toilet. There's no reason that shouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Moosehead's like the back of the toilet water. And then
Okay, fair
everything
enough.
else is in the toilet.
And
It all
any-
comes down to the part of the toilet you got the water from.
and any Laker beer is probably the CLR you use to get everything off of it.
Ew.
Anyways, Pabrunu
right.
Paul says Kokani all day sons or Kokani, two N's.
Cocaine.
Crack Canoe is a fine maintenance beer, says Lee
True.
Russell. Or JR 4.0. Paul says Alexander Keys.
Alexander Lees. Oh, Keefs.
Use
Alexander
KES.
Keys. Fuck that.
And then Mr. Lee Russell says Nick takes hyperbole to a new level of stupid.
Yeah.
And then Eblino Reno Kokani is most delicious served. There's a thing in the way there, a heart in Niagara Falls by Toothless Waitress.
That is scientifically accurate.
Indeed, says Paul. I wasn't there that year where you had the Toothless Waitress. I was there like 2016 when we all went breakfast in the morning.
And then I'm pretty sure Paul just went and took a picture in the bathroom. At least that's how my drunken ass remembers it.
Anyway, I'm gonna put this out. I you know what? Let's circle back around just because let people talk.
Circle
Scott.
Yes.
What's your? This is a bad one to ask because I mean we already know. But what's your history with this beer? like what the fuck?
Do some. Okay, so Nick, just
Maybe
do
I
some
should just move on to
post-production.
Greg.
Just do some post-production. Fill in all the other times I had history with this beer.
Just make a montage video of you talking about your history with Moosehead at this point. All right, let's just. Hi, Scott. I love you,
Hi.
but let's move over to Greg.
All right.
Greg.
Well,
what's
my
your
history with this beer is I started pretty close to the top, and I'm down to here. So clearly, it's doing its job of being a session beer because I've actually had to switch to a different beer just so I don't drink the rest and I can do the review. Now,
wow.
Mr. Carey, have you had this before?
Of course.
Of course you have.
Yes.
You know what? I recently tried a Haze Mama, and I'm trying this, and I'm actually surprised how similar they taste. So, kind of if you like Haze Mama, but
Haze Mama.
That one's lighter on the ABV, and it's
4.5%. But I'm thinking if you ever lose your ginger vitality and have to drink a lower ABV beer, or you just choose to drink a lower ABV beer, this is actually like pretty similar to Haze Mama, but less alcohol.
Honestly, like a lot of their IPAs and pale ales are similar.
Yeah, they do have a certain GLB-ness.
Thrust is a really good IPA.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
They do down in Moxie.
Once a year or so.
There's a bunch of them. They only bring out the brewery too. But
this is one of their regular lineup that goes with.
That hits the LCBO.
Around. Yeah, I mean, the Thrust Moxie. I think Moxie they bring out twice a year. Thrust they bring out once or twice a year. But yeah, they do
right now, Lake Effect is in the LCBO. Right now.
They do, but that does not taste like a Haze Mama. That tastes like a cool, refreshing West Coast IPA.
Good beer.
All right. So let's move over to Radar.
Yes.
What's your history with the beer you brought?
No history at all.
What's the history of
Have
the
you ever
pack of toilet
had
paper
Mill
on your
Street
bed?
Organic?
No, I've never had. Well, yeah. Now that you said that, what's it said? Their faces, they're from Bankley Hill. Their Bose Brewery are organic. Then yeah, I guess I've had organic before.
No,
So
you've
Mill
had.
Street.
Yeah, but Mill Street's not. Oh, I think they did they buy Mill. No, they didn't buy Mill
I think
Street.
it got bought. Mill Street got bought by.
AB InBev.
Yeah.
They're part of the Budweiser sphere.
Yeah.
Now.
Who bought Bose? Didn't Steam Whistle or something buy Bose?
Yeah, Steve Whistle bought Bose.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Or
it's
the other way
history is that and the IPA that I've tasted from Mill Street. That's it. I've already drank maybe 3/4 of the beer and 2/3.
It's a weird.
In
fucking
my
glass.
yeah, it says finally a wine glass that fits my needs. I got this for
Jesus, that is a
Jesus.
That's
That's
an
gonna be a
interesting glass.
that has to be a pain in the ass to like. Don't you drink an imperial stout or that you'll never get
Yeah.
stains off the bottom.
what was I going to say? Is this where I rate the beer I bought?
I don't
No,
think
we're
we're
not
there
there
yet.
Not yet. All right. So okay, let's move over to Beardo. Redbeard, the beer you brought.
So, yeah.
What's your history with Haze Mom? I feel like this is almost like asking Scott at this point.
Just insert the stuff he had before and just
Just a montage of Redbeard talking.
Yeah. Like
Gonna be a month.
I'm basically the reason that this is permanently stocked at the one LCBO here in town.
because you
They
It's 'cause
they,
you're
they always
buying it by
had
the
they always
case.
had Canuck and Octopus Wants to Fight,
Ugh.
and then they'd bring in the seasonals and stuff. And I was like, why don't you have Haze Mom? The guy's like, it wouldn't sell here. And I'm like,
Yes,
bring it in and we'll see. So he brought it in, and I'm pretty sure I bought like almost the first 2/4s. And
Gary,
he's
you
like,
should,
at this point, yeah, it's not
Gary,
going away.
you should talk to the LCBO manager, because I'm pretty sure if they bring in to you and sell it to you by the case, they have to give you the same price that GLB sells it at the brewery for. So you could potentially buy by the caseload. Because I'm
never
pretty
thought
sure
of
that,
that.
I'm pretty sure that's Ontario law, is that they have to, the brewery, they don't necessarily have to stock it in the LCBO, but the LCBO and the beer store have to sell it by the case for the same price the brewery sells it for. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but
That's
I would
something I would look into.
to look into, because you could just buy 220. You're going to buy 24 of them anyway. You may as well take the discount.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's a decent discount when you buy this GLB stuff by the case, I believe.
I think it's $78 for 24 right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I will look into that. And yeah, that I've mentioned before, in my opinion, this is just straight up the best craft beer for money, like value wise. $3.60 a can here in Ontario, 7% ABV, and just a fucking really solid, hazy, juicy IPA. It's fucking great.
Nice. All right.
Delicious.
My turn to talk about my history with Moosehead, and maybe I should just cut in a montage of me talking with Moosehead.
No, I want the full history.
I don't know. I can
What's
remember
your history with
Moosehead-
Scott?
My history with Scott.
that's just as long.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. I'll start at saying like my first beer I remember having a sip of was my dad's bottle of Moosehead Pale Ale at a ball game back in like early 1990s. It might have been late 1980s or something. It was one because he stopped playing baseball around 40 when he turned 40. The Moosehead Lager. I didn't really try the Moosehead Lager until I became a man. I guess.
A marriage man.
I haven't done so that you're talking about like I didn't start drinking any kind of beers until other than the occasional sip, or I think I got drunk. The first time I ever got drunk was when I was 18, and I was off like 3 bottles of Alpine. Moosehead Green. I didn't try Moosehead Green until like the early 2000s when I was doing more experimenting with what kind of alcohols I like.
Nice.
So, but I mean, it's been a staple since then. It's just it used to be that we had 2 choices of Moosehead. We had Moosehead Red, Moosehead Green, and this is always kind of stuck as the green bottle. So I got an extensive history with this. I've had it for years, and it's kind of been one of my favorite go-to lagers, and it's just kind of one of my summer crusher or just great maintenance beers because, you know, I'll have no problem polishing off a case of this stuff. Maybe not quite with the efficiency that Scott has.
Man's man.
Anyway, I'm gonna turn it over to let's see. Radar's putting his toilet paper away.
Hey, you got to put it away sometime.
No, he didn't.
All right, I'm gonna put Radar back on, and you can read the comments.
Comented. Let's see where like hyperbole, and then she had some teeth.
I don't even know what that
Says
is.
Jeff.
She has some.
She's got legs.
Some teeth.
Knows
And
how
then
to
Paul
use
said,
them.
dump it in the dumper in the dumper.
The dumper.
There we go.
And then he said, Scott could simply say, they pay me to say it's good, and that would be fine.
They don't.
Paul says, quote the brewery of Black Swan, only teenagers say 2-4. Ha ha ha.
They only pay him to not shit on it. He doesn't have to say it's good.
They don't even pay me for that. They pay me for IT.
And then he
Only
says,
teenagers say 2. Like,
They pay you for it.
everybody
he
says
says-
a 2-4. What are you talking about?
and then he says the brewer, sorry. Joe
Yeah,
Skins
Paul doesn't like the term 2-4.
Oh,
I think it's a Canadian thing. I think, I don't know.
We don't call it
There's
2-4.
no
yeah, it makes sense. It's a 2-4.
The brewer, sorry. Joe Skin started moving and freaked me out. It was just rats banging under it. Anyways, Paul says, I did drink a case of Moosehead. It was completely drinkable and completely forgettable.
Yeah, but that's the point.
It's the S because it's supposed to be completely drinkable.
Yes.
All right.
It's
So I think
supposed to be like in the same as, you know, Molson or Labatt or whatever. Anyway.
yeah, it's basically just a competitor for like the likes of Labatt Blue or Molson Canadian or Budweiser or
I might just be the
Golden-
outlier here because I seem to have like a
Schooner.
incredible sense of corn syrup, but I don't think any of these macro beers, like, okay, something like Coors Light, maybe it's not good, but at least it's drinkable because you don't taste much. But something like Molson Canadian, Budweiser, I'm sorry, Moosehead, I get so much corn syrup from those. To me, they're not drinkable. They're not what I consider drinkable. That I might just be the outlier here. But that's why something like Crack Canoe to me is actually drinkable because that is water. It has no taste, and it's like, yes, I can drink this, and it's refreshing. And it's
It
good.
has a lightly bready taste, but that's basically
Well, yeah, I know it is a beer, but it's what in my mind is what
That's
people,
no offensive taste.
people are like, oh, Molson Canadian, it's water. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Molson Canadian is not water. It tastes like asshole, but it's not water.
It's got too much flavor of ass.
Oh, it tastes to me like somebody just took a bunch of tortilla chips and fucking soaked them in there and probably added a little like jizz, and it's like, here you go.
Jesus. So they made it in Montreal.
Probably.
Yeah. Alrighty, so we might as well just keep rolling here, and I'll put I'm gonna put Greg back up front and center here.
That's not Greg.
I know. Well, yeah, but as soon as I clicked on this format, it went to the last person who was full screen.
It's okay. Me and Radar look the exact same. It's
Yeah.
Man's
you
man.
guys look alike.
Anyways, Collingwood Happy
humans.
Tales. It has a dog on it. Oh, plus a cat. So
Dog
automatically
dog.
that's plus 2 points. So that's how the rules work.
Yeah, so two.
You don't
for
make
Scott.
them, you just follow them.
This is actually if you're looking for a ton of flavor, this isn't really it. If you're looking for something, as I like to say, a pool beer, nice summer beer on a patio, you don't want to get overly drunk. You want to drink, you want to maybe drink a few of these over the course of the afternoon. This is really good for that. I don't like a whole shit ton of flavor when the sun's blaring down on me. I like something a little bit lighter, a little more drinkable, and this is very drinkable. In fact, almost too drinkable. It's more drinkable than the GLB one.
Is it quaffable?
Also, this I don't know if it's quaffable or not. That's for the scientists to figure out. A little bit lighter than that. I like this. I mean, again, I have to sort of put my mind in the right place because does it have a ton of flavor? No. Is it tasty? Yes. But if I want flavor, I wouldn't be going for a 4.5% IPA anyway. It's like I don't complain that a 4% stout has little flavor. Wait, yes, I do, because they should all be fucking imperial. Fuck you, non-stout makers.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like this. I've had better, but I've had much, much worse too. There's an awful lot of almost offensive session IPAs, and this is it's just very smooth, very tasty. I don't know, is there a canning date on this? I don't think. Oh, come on, guys, you gotta have a canning date. No canning
Gotta
dates.
have a bottle on date,
I have
guys.
absolutely no clue how old this is, but
By law, it has to have a canning date.
it should. I mean,
No,
GLB is usually pretty good for that.
By
I
law, it
agree
has to
with
have a
you,
canning date.
but well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's somewhere and I just haven't found it, but I don't see it. Anyway, as a session IPA, 8.5. I've had better, but it's pretty solid. No real complaints. As a I'll say personal enjoyment, but I'm going to give the caveat of personal enjoyment when the situation calls for it, i.e., on a patio by a pool, or if I just want to lose a little weight. Yeah, really, I'm not going to lose weight drinking.
Greg, I hear you have a pool.
I do not have a pool, Scott. That's a filthy rumor. But, if you want to come by and swim in my giant cat litter box, you're welcome to.
Oh, my.
I'm going to give this I like this, and it has a dog on it. So I'm going to give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. I enjoy it. I'm not going to suck its dick more than it needs to be sucked, but I'm enjoying it, especially since I don't know how old it is. Might be better fresh, might be worse fresh.
There you go. And did you want to talk about your burst? I'm assuming you're drinking that second, or did you open that?
I'm not really counting it, but burst is surprisingly, and I mean, I had a Haze Mama about 2 weeks ago. It surprisingly tastes very similar to me. And I guess not surprisingly, really, but I would say this is obviously a New England style IPA, although this, like Haze Mama, it doesn't have a lot of the offensive flavors I don't like in a New England style IPA. So it's good. It goes well with this. Let's see if they cuvee well.
Does it cuvee? Actually, does it chalet? It should be for you, chalet.
Funny enough, it makes it taste more like grapefruit rind, which wasn't in either beer to begin with. But you put it together. Now it has a grapefruit rind. I like this a lot less than I like the individual beers. So yeah, don't cuvee these two beers together. I'm not going to rate the burst, but like I say, if you like a New England style IPA, if you like, let's say if you specifically are Carrie and you're like, I like Haze Mama, but oh no, I'm gaining some weight. I need to drink a lighter beer. Try a burst. It might work. Also, if you want to lose weight, probably don't drink beer. I'm just throwing that out there. As a fellow fat guy, I'm just gonna say probably it's not the best way to lose
Fat
weight.
ass.
Nick, you promised you wouldn't talk about my ass on the show.
Jesus.
Or its size.
Rude.
All right.
I have nothing further to say to you, Nick.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Greg. All right, let's move over to Scott.
Hi,
Hey.
Scott.
Hey, boy.
What
What do you think of Moosehead?
It's a clean, refreshing lager. It's something that I would drink.
Crisp gold
Normally,
taste.
I pick up a 2-4, Paul. I pick up 2-4 of this on the radio.
Not a 4.8?
Not a 4.8. Well, if I'm out with people, I'll pick up a Moose Light, or But if I want to go, if I'm at home and I want to enjoy 1, 2, 6, I'll have 6 of these at night, no problem, and be okay. I wouldn't drive, but I'd be okay. So as for, is this a drink that I'm going to drink more of this year? Yeah, this is a drink I'm going to drink more of this year. Is it one that I enjoy immensely? Yes, this is one that I enjoy immensely. What do I give it for a score? I will give it a 7.5 for personal enjoyment. I will give it an 8 for style.
8 for style. All right. Thank you, Scott. Let's go over to the Radlar.
Yes. Well, I've already finished drinking this beer. It was okay. Not great, but not terrible. I would say, it kind of tasted like a macro beer. I mean, I know it is, but it's like, I don't know what's the fuss. It's organic, but it tastes like a regular beer to me, anyways. And not much to say about it. It's okay. Just okay. That's it. Just okay. 5.3 out of 10 for style. 5.3 out of 10 for everything else.
But I mean, shouldn't you be picking up something that you want to drink more of?
No, I don't want to drink more of this.
What? Well, then why did you pick it up? This is the point of the show.
But that's what he
I'm
thought
planning
before
on
going.
losing weight this year, so I think this. Nah, I don't know. Whatever.
It turns out that it's not the right choice.
Yeah,
you were thinking of it.
I will continue, and it's like, you know what? I want to drink this so I can lose weight. I mean, you're not going to lose weight with beer, so it's like, I drank it once, like fuck it, bone shaker.
You got to go on the Kozak vodka diet.
Yeah, or a Giza gin only diet.
You make those ABVs count if you're gonna just drink beer.
Fuck it, I'm drinking bone
shaker. Alrighty, thank you, Radar. Let's go over to the beard.
Sup?
What do you think of hazelnut? I'm going to drink more of it.
I just might. It's a possibility.
Distinct possibility.
It's, again, just a fantastic example of a hazy IPA. Like, it's not the best haze bomb I've ever had in my life. It's even what I call a haze bomb. Like, it doesn't have the kind of... I don't think they use oats. Do they use oats? Wheat, hops. They do oats, but not to the level that like Bellwoods and stuff uses, where the beer is
Not
like
enough oats.
thick. I like it like that, but I got no problem with this. I go 9s across the board.
All right, fair enough.
It's very nice.
9. Alrighty, let's. Who's next? That's actually me. I'll talk about my thoughts on the crisp, golden,
delicious,
refreshing taste of Moosehead Premium Lager.
Premium.
Actually, I think it says Canadian Lager now, doesn't it?
Yes.
Brewed in my hometown of St. John, New Brunswick, by Scott. Actually, no, but not by Scott. But Scott does the software updates on the machinery.
I run the IT department.
Exactly. Anyway, it's perfectly serviceable. I mean, like I've said, I've loved this beer for years. If I'm looking primarily to save some money, I can buy a 12-pack of this stuff, keep it in the fridge, and because I mean, I feel like, I'll buy something like this stuff and I'll just drink it in between a couple, or if I'm just looking for something lighter to drink, then it's perfectly serviceable. Because I feel like at today's prices, buying 12 cans of $5 craft IPAs and stuff like that is becoming unsustainable just because it's so goddamn expensive. And
only here because of the
I will say it's only because of the fucking tax that they added to it. We're getting screwed more so than Ontario is. Like, ask Greg, how much does he pay for a can of GLB Canuck? It's like $3.20 something.
I think it's got, well, again, assuming you buy it from the LCBO, where it's obviously more expensive than the brewery.
Okay.
I think it's $3 a can now, or $3.25 a can. I think.
Yeah, well, like there's no, like, even if you can count macro beers, there's like no can of beer in a tall boy can that's that cheap anymore. Like, even like some of the imported European stuff goes down as far as like $3.39. There's nothing in the NB liquor store because we've got fucking like fucked basically.
Now,
anyway,
to be fair, there is an awful lot of light beers like Canuck that cost more than $4. It's just GLB happens to be pretty consumer minded with their pricing.
Yeah, well, maybe it's a bad example, but I keep hearing you tell about it. Now, when you go buy those at GLB, do you pay tax on them there too? Like, it's plus tax?
No. The prices on the prices at GLB are all taxed in. So
that's
believe
the price of the price. Okay,
I believe the current price of Canuck is $2.50 a can if you buy a 2-4 of them.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah, well, I'm just trying to say, when it comes to anything in NB liquor right now, you're going to be paying probably $3.39 or $3.50 for at least, and it goes up from there. Your typical IPA is going to range between 440 and 550. So
Tax is 100%.
A fucking can.
Yeah, but property taxes just went up in Toronto by 10%. So you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. Anyway, moving right along with this one here, I feel like I could still get this for like $30 for a 12-pack. Even when I bought this 12-pack of these bottles, they were on sale for $25. I felt that was a pretty fucking good deal. And I'm only using Moosehead as a filler. It just happens to be one of my favorite ones. Naturally, I've got a can of Alpine sitting here, which actually I was going to Cuvee the two. I'm going to give my rating first and I'll Cuvee them. But yeah, like when it comes to like just adding in the occasional macro is probably going to be what I'm going to do. I'm going to start adding more maintenance beers because it's getting unsustainable to be able to pay $60 for a weekend. That's $120 under my paycheck to buy just beers for the weekend. It's getting
there's where all your money goes.
Yeah, you wonder why I'm broke all the time. So what do I think of Moosehead Lager? I think when it comes to the macro lagers like this kind of thing, it's hard to even call this one a macro lager, really.
It is a macro lager.
It technically is, but it's so much better than the other ones that are out there. The other ones are pretty much flat out garbage. Like I would fucking see her drunk Budweiser down the sink. It tasted gross the last time I had one. It's of course, AB InBev's cut so many corners on that fucking beer. So to please investors and all the people who drink that shit blindly these days, Moosehead I feel still holds up. Guy, I actually prefer the taste of this over Alpine. I feel like talking with Greg, what Scott was saying about maybe it's the same beer, they just changed the hops, and it kind of makes sense because this one's maybe a bit more European influenced, and this one here's like it's still kind of like almost a noble hop kind of taste, but it's got a little bit more like lemony and grassiness to it than this one. Anyway, moving on along. As far as a pale lager, adjunct lager goes, it's a 9. It's one of the best. Overall enjoyment is a 7.5. It's basically giving it the same ratings that I gave when we did that mystery beer review there over the summer. That's Scott got the cans with their name on it for us. All right, so there's Moosehead in one glass, Alpine in the other. How much does this change the taste?
Do you have any chalet sauce, Nick?
I don't have any chalet sauce. I ate all.
Damn it.
Sorry.
Does it chalet?
I have a slice of pizza in the fridge.
Oh, yeah. Throw that in there.
All right. How's this taste?
Squish it in and throw it in.
Smushing, yeah.
There is a difference, but it's almost negligible. It's like the hop note on it is like sweeter and a hint more resiny. Like it's not so much more sour. It's just a more pronounced bitterness, I feel. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the difference between Moosehead and Alpine. It's fine. It's almost tastes natural, like it almost tastes like another Moosehead product. But on their own, I think I'd prefer a Moosehead over an Alpine. That's just me. Alrighty. So I'm gonna put her back on radar. Radar can read more comments.
All right, where did they go off?
Sound like a German cough.
Paul says my buddy loves a Bat Blue, and I drank a bunch of Molson Triple X. They did the trick, and I don't mind them at all, but that was when I was only a whiskey drinker.
I can get it next year.
And then he wrote, all beers should come in at least 500 milliliters and be at least 8.5 ABV plus. And he says, Scott's head is obscured by the StreamYard duck. Just saying. And Dan, the Western Canadian reviewer, Dan the man with the big banana, says he is the StreamYard duck. And Paul says duck head at the moment. Lol, says Dan. Then Paul says, again, I have zero problem with 2x4. It is a bit silly with CASE or case is faster and easier to say and understand. But again, no personal issue here.
I don't feel it's any easier or more difficult to say. I find both or in case are Easy to say. I will say my one personal issue with case is a case could be a case of 6, a case of 12, a case of 4, perhaps in a rare occurrence, maybe a case of 48. 48. I'm not sure if I've ever seen that, but I've definitely seen cases of 30. So
yeah, well, it's true what you were saying, because when people say, "Hey, let's go buy a case of beer," and then if you say, "Let's go buy a twofer," it's actually much
more specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
And shorter. And then so see, a case here for me is like a 12 pack. A 2-4 is 24. That's what Dan says. Anyways, Lee Russell says, "Yep, the case is 12 here." And then Dan says, "Could say a half a case or a 6-pack here too, but I'm old and I heard these terms 30 plus years ago." He also says, "Dan, these guys make 15 packs. Sig have to toss new terminology for that."
I always thought a case is a 2-4.
A brewer's dozen, 15 pack.
A brewer's dozen.
And then Lee Russell says, "Love seeing Nick totally walk back all of this grudge influenced sarcastic remarks from last week. He knows who butters his bread ultimately."
Yeah, but I won't make fun of Moosehead the Scott's face.
And then Ablina Reno, aka Jeff, "Where do I donate so Greg can buy a tripod? I'm so sick of looking at his stupid feet."
You know what? You're not supposed to look at my feet. That's for carry only.
Yeah, well, it's a feats only kind of thing. It defeats the purpose.
Only feet.
Only feats. It's like only fans, but better.
You know what, Jamie? If you show up, I promise my feet will not ever enter the camera. But you need to show up.
Yeah. Anyway,
until then, enjoy my toe jam.
And then that's because you're from NV and Dumb Nick.
That's everyone knows the world calls a 2-4 a case, and you don't. I don't know what Nova Scotia's problem is.
Because
Scott, what do you call a case in New Brunswick?
2-4.
There you go. All right,
the 12 pack.
Yeah, I mean, if
somebody
are
we talking a case? Or are we talking 24?
If somebody were to say a case to me, I would kind of assume they're talking a 12 pack, just because. But I also kind of look at it like that's like a case of wine is usually 12. So,
well, yeah, like a case of Coke is like you're not talking like the fridge packs. Like usually a case of Coke is one of the cases you get for restocking a refrigerator in a convenience store which are 24 in number. So
see, I guess the point we're trying to make to Paul is that case is not very specific. Is case can mean
that's true too,
depending where you are.
2-4 tends to mean 24.
Yeah, yes, that generally. If you're saying 2-4 and you mean 12,
it could mean 8, I guess.
And Scott, at the brewery itself, if you ship out a case of beer, it's usually 2 12 packs in one pack, right?
What?
I forget. I know I've seen on MB Liquor shelves where they've got like a 12 pack that they've unpacked from a. I don't know. Ignore me.
I usually do.
All right. I know.
All right. Are we getting into
so yeah, let's circle back around, starting with Scott tonight. Of all the beers you heard here tonight, which would you rather have had?
I would rather have Nick's.
Terrible.
Alrighty, I'll take it. Greg, what would you rather have had tonight?
Well, let's see. So I've got a choice between Radar's Millstreet Organic, which I've had many times. I don't hate the beer. I haven't had it in a while. I can't imagine it's any better now that they're owned by Budweiser. But then I've got a choice between Scott's free Moosehead and Nick's Moosehead that he paid for. Obviously,
not free. It's not free for me.
Oh,
discounted.
Taxable benefit. So
taxable benefit, Moosehead.
You paid a small amount for it, basically free. So I would rather between Nick and Scott, I would rather that one. And then of course there's Carrie's Haze Mama beer, which I've had several times. It's by GLB. It's a quality product. It's not my favorite beer they make, but it is a very quality product and has flavor, and it's 7%, and it's a good price. It's not free or close to free, but it is a good price. So Yeah, this is a tough one, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Carrie.
Thanks, man.
All right, so
You could have selected Nick's beer, and then I'd actually win one for once, but no.
If I selected Nick's beer, you wouldn't win. Nick would win.
Yeah,
Radar.
but the beer would win. I'm all about the beer. The beer would win.
Radar.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Greg's beer. I mean, Collingwood Brewery has had solid beers, and to be honest with you, it's just how can I say? It's I'm curious about it. I probably wouldn't mind buying it, and yeah, Greg's.
All right.
I mean, at the very least, I think you wouldn't hate it. So
Yeah.
All right. So Carrie, of all the beers you're here today, would you rather have?
Probably a can of Burst.
Burst?
Yeah.
No, Greg didn't.
I don't think Burst was technically reviewed. But...
You said all the beers I heard today. I heard it.
Oh,
well, I mean... that were reviewed.
I guess Greg's other beer.
Okay.
The non-Burst.
Yeah, that one.
To be fair, I was gonna vote for Burst if Greg had reviewed it, but. Anyway.
Well, if you guys want to vote for Burst, vote for Burst.
Not too late now. Okay, so my turn. My turn is what beer would I rather have had? Scott's. No.
Nice.
Because I already had one. Of all of them, geez, you know what? I feel like I'd like to try Greg's but I mean, I also don't know. Usually, a session IPA is gonna bore me a little. I've had Haze Mama before, but it's otherwise the most interesting one here. So. Except for one other that I heard, but he disappeared. So I'm going to vote for Paul. Actually, no, it has to be one that was rated. So I would vote for Paul probably if he was here.
Right now, Lee Russell's freaking out that you're breaking all the rules, Nick.
Yeah, I know. Okay, my vote's for Carrie, which means there's a two-way tie between Greg and Carrie for the two non-lager beers here.
Oh, so who didn't vote for either one of us can cast the vote?
Scott, of the two, which would you rather have had?
Between
Happy Trail Session IPA, Happy Tales, or Mills or GLB Haze Mama?
Happy Tales.
Yay!
Scott. So Greg wins.
I mean, let's be honest. The dog wins. Look how cute that dog is. Oh,
you're not wrong.
What a good puppy. Even the cat's okay. I mean, I don't like the cat as much. But the
cat looks like a sadistic asshole.
Well, the cat is a sadistic asshole. Look at this dog. He's like, oh, I'm a dog. Hello. I'm a dumb dog, but I like being a dumb dog.
I'm dumb, but I love my
I'm going
to dumb in New Brunswick who thinks a 12-pack is stupid people.
I'm going to lick my penis now. There we go. I'm sure Jamie will get that for tomorrow.
All righty. Okay, well,
yay me.
What do we no, the question's not been asked, but we didn't even decide what we were going to do for next week's beer. What do you think we should do for next week's beer? Just BYOB, bring your own macro? Yeah, pick a random macro.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
And how does it compare to Moosehead?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, one Moosehead and one macro.
Do we want to do it that way?
I think that...
I'm down.
Greg cut out. He muted himself for some reason.
I think I hit the wrong button. I found blood on my finger, so now I have to figure out where the blood came from.
Your asshole.
I haven't touched my asshole recently, though, so I don't think so.
Recently, I like that.
Recently.
Well, I did shower a few hours.
Okay, I'll let Greg. I'll let Greg. Would you say pick a random macro compared to?
I kind of think that's interesting, unless you want to do a specific macro. But I kind of think that would be interesting.
All right. Okay, we'll do it then. Pick a random macro and then buy a Moosehead and then compare the two.
Yeah, listen, that's more Moosehead sales for Scott. So we're
might as well change it up.
Continuing.
Scott's totally gonna buy an Alpine and a Moosehead and compare the two.
Okay, then there should be a caveat. The macro you bring to compare to Moosehead cannot be made by Moosehead.
Yeah.
Because that's just being silly.
I would actually go and buy
a competitor
macro. I will participate.
It'd be like the taste challenge. Like, remember Coke versus Pepsi Tasters Challenge from the 90s?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that. And the beer. Should we also require that the beer has to be like a Pilsner or a golden lager or some kind of pale lager?
Yeah, it should be
a macro lager makes sense.
It should be basically a macro lager. Like it should be similar to Moosehead. Like it.
Okay. A macro of the pale lager.
I would think something like Molson Canadians. Like to me, even like a light lager is kind of cheating. Like I think it should be something around 5%. Like it should be, it should be a Canadian, a Budweiser, a Sapporo.
Well, I was kind of thinking like I'd love it if it were, but it can't be Pilsner or Cal or something.
No, that I think a European lager is on a different playing field.
Okay, all right, let's go. It has to be a North American lager of some sort.
Because that's the market that Moosehead is trying to target, right? The North American lager.
Paul says, if you want a BYOB, can you have one on the last Wednesday of the month? Yeah, we can do another BYOB for the last Wednesday. Or a show and tell. We have more comments. Ray, you want to read the rest?
Yeah, where was I? Let's see, Nick. That's because see why nobody takes NB seriously. That's what Lee Russell says. He also said, that's it. I'm leaving the chat in a huff. Fuck you, I have the power in all caps by Lee. And then he all caps, ha. Timeouts, everyone. And then Dan says, hey, I was reading that. And then Jeff, aka Jamie, said, Lee, you monster. And then Paul says, I'd be a great spokesperson for a brewery for a little bit until they saw my honest reviews, but it is what it is. At least I could get a paycheck or two out of them. And then Jeff says, hey guys, I'm back. I was washing the sheets.
After 120 hours of pissy sex.
Wow.
And then Paul says that must be
squirty
tough
squirt
for you.
time.
That must be tough enough for you, West Coast Nick. And then Dan says, it was. Happy face. Paul says, good point. Redbeard burst was mentioned. Ha, ha, ha. Then Jamie says, does anyone have a bus map for Noob Brunswick?
Noob Brunswick.
There's no buses in New Brunswick.
The dad says, nope,
Yeah,
and none for the Regina either. And then Paul says, session IPAs are horribly boring. Sorry, I failed you, Nick. And then Marcin Hizupski. I vote for Redbeard's GLB beer. And then Albino Rhino says, Regina or Ablino Jeff. Regina rhymes with the funniest word ever, pagina.
Pagani?
Of course.
Paul says, if you want a BYOB, bring your own beer. Can you have one on the last Wednesday of this month? I'll be off that Thursday. Well, we always do this on Wednesday.
Off at Thursday?
Well, he's off that Thursday, the day after, so he can get shit-faced drunk.
But then Jamie says, I'll make a Pabrew News channel and show up too. And then Dan says, Mountain Press. Happy
31st is the last day of the month, so.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do last Wednesday. Behavior News and Mountain Crest. Oh fuck. Toothpaste. Alrighty. I think it's enough to wrap it up for tonight. So tune in next week where we're doing David versus Goliath or whatever shit. We're doing Macro versus Moosehead. Macro versus Moosehead. That's what we'll do. We'll just call it. Say it was not Scott's idea. It was Carrie's, I think.
Correct.
Carrie and Greg, kind of. Alrighty,
that's right.
We'll play it out by Redbeard showing us his penis.
Nice.
Have a good night, there, folks.
Have a good night.
Chris Peters killed this.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.